Hey you guys, it's me, Queen Z. Just came to check in, see how everybody's doing. Talk about this new moon we're under, what that means for a lot of us, what to expect, kind of talk about a little bit about what we're coming out of, but not staying in the past for too long. And so again, I always come in with all that love and light, positive energy. I send it out in abundance, sending it out, sending it out. So as we're under this new cycle, we're under a new moon, right? This is the new moon phase. And I'm using these cards from my African Oracle deck. Not so much as pulling the energy from the actual card itself, but to talk about the new moon cycle and what that means for me, and to talk about a little bit what was put on my heart to share with you guys tonight as we enter this new cycle with wanting to put out high frequencies of love and light, changing the trajectory of the negative energy, being alchemists of our once what we perceive maybe as negative outcomes, but really turning that around for ourselves, being positive, thinking positive, and just sharing some of my thoughts with the community. So again, today is December 1st. It is a new moon cycle. I think we had a full moon on the 15th. It was a full moon on the 15th of November. And then as I was just thinking about if I was going to come on here, if I was going to talk today, what were we going to talk about? And then I noticed that the next full moon is also on December 15th. And that puts us like smack in the middle, you know, as we leave and exit the Scorpionic season and we're coming into Aquarian season. Just thinking about some things that were sticking out, and just the 15th of November and then the full moon going to be on the 15th of December as well. Did it further press me to delve into those numbers of 1515. And number 1515 is positive changes and moving forward. 1 meaning the beginning, 5 meaning change. And so, you know, I think a lot of us are going to have to go back to the beginning where it all started, as far as with ourselves, with cycles and relationships and things that we really want to come to an end, or things that are going on in our life where we need to see the most change, where there needs to be some impactful change. You know, this is that season. This is like an exit. It's that energy of having a fresh start, coming with new ideas, inspiring one another, being in the community. And so when I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, gosh, this goes so deep, right? Because I was just like, oh yeah, we got a new moon. It's the 1st. And I was like, well, no, the last new moon was on the 15th, and the next full moon, the last full moon was on the 15th of November, and the next full moon will be on the 15th of December 2024 this year. And I keep saying this is like the biggest spiritual awakening year I think that I will see in my lifetime. I'm almost convinced. Like it's such a high frequency that's going out, and if you go across any platform, you can see the topic of conversation, like what's the buzz? Like if you're in a spiritual community, you're like, ooh, what's the buzz? And so people are talking about this frequency, this wave, this change that's coming. So out with the old, in with the new, being in this this season of being able to manifest and create for yourselves, and coming up out of dark times, kind of getting the rebirthing going on for some of us. Some of us have shed maybe the person we were yesterday. For some of us, we shed the person we were even 2 seconds ago. And so that 1515 is just positive changes and moving forward and alchemizing. Again, we could have been going through life. We could have been experiencing something at that time, or we could have just been reliving something, you know, from the past time. But I think we're going to be coming out of that energy, and people are going to be getting this breath of fresh air, like feeling unstuck. And this is what I have been talking about. If anybody has been watching my videos, over the last week or so, about what that looks like for some of us. Again, I've always shared how, I relocated states. I literally came from coast to coast, moving solely on faith and my higher power and my divine calling for what it is I need to do. And here I am today putting out these messages for you guys, connecting with people all over the world. So when these frequencies are going out, you never know what you're going to be called to do or what your title may consist of. And being of service, and so as I continue to look at that 1515 number, and I was like, gosh, that's just not it. Yeah. Positive changes are coming, but not to that magnitude where I'm shooting it down, but like, no, it's something else. You're supposed to go a little bit deeper than that. And so as I got to thinking, well, 1 + 5 is 6, and the power of 66 is selflessness, service, the deep responsibilities for humanity. So I think people are coming in to the realization that we do need one another, that just being able to pick up the phone and call your neighbor and check on them, see how they're doing, the neighbor picking up and checking on you. Boundaries are being set. People are starting to assert themselves in a more positive, healthier structure and form. And it's noticeable. It's showing from within. People are doing that shadow work. They're going in and having an understanding of why they're going through or experiencing some of the energy that they are, or why they may have been stagnant, or why they're looking at their neighbor and they're seeing this tremendous growth spurt. To know that, again, I love to say they're not conference calls, they're very individual. And so as we're coming in this moon cycle and just thinking about what I can do to help folks along, and how I'm to get my message and to do my selflessness, deep, responsible service, because that's what it says. Selflessness, service, a deep responsibility for humanity. So when we're given some of these titles, I know for me, and I'll speak for Queen herself, when I started going through some of my journey, and I like to call it an initiation process, whatever people like to call it, when you have your awakening, when your DNA is speaking to you, when you're getting all the signs from the universe, and they're going out, and you like, hold on, and you looking, and you like, am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. People are definitely receiving messages. Not everybody will respond to their messages that they're seeing, and that's okay too. You just pray for those people. You send them love and light. You send it out in abundance. That eventually everyone will become of a lighter frequency, instead of all this heavy, dark stuff that keeps people bound, that has us in the space of not being able to work through houselessness, or communities of people going hungry, or communities of people wanting to alter their current state of mind, meaning be under some type of influence rather than experience their current state. And so just to go deep into that selflessness and being of service. This is what being of service looks like for me. It's allowing you guys to see me go through this transition and change, being authentic in myself, and coming out here and talking about what I feel like the Most High and Source and my spirit team that gives to me to share with you guys on a daily. Sometimes not every day. Some days I need to take time to step back so I can restore for the next moment. I think a lot of people are gonna get into a good practice, and we're gonna gain momentum as a human race on how to live with one another, how to be of good service, how to do good things. I just feel like, chakras activated. Like literally, people are activated. People are activated to want to see change, to want to feel love, to want to be a part of a community. I think there's been so much division that we actually lost sight of what community really was. We don't have a lot of traditional matriarchs anymore in the communities, like grandmothers and grandfathers. A lot of grandparents are younger. They're probably closer than my age and some younger, and that's okay. you know, as long as we get to a level of becoming leaders and teachers so that the younger people under us can adapt and latch on to this new way of living that's coming about, and that's breaking the cycles, that's positive change, you know, even if it's just one person at a time, you know. I'm slowly starting to see the fruit. You know, I was on the phone and I called one of my girlfriends last night. I called a couple of my girlfriends last night. Some people women that I really consider sisters and that I can have real fruitful conversations with. And the first one I was supposed to have did a part 2 to that season of judgment and that karma spinning the block. And I had called someone else right after that, and they got to talking about, they said, yeah, I never really get to listen to your videos and you send them to me. And, you know, I was feeling guilty for a period of time and blah, 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 all this different stuff. They said, and then you started singing and then you started talking, right? And so, not even to go on a rant about what yesterday's topic was, it was just about, you know, people do want to get next to you. People will want to hear you. Your voice will have volume no matter how long you speak, as long as you speak it from the heart and you're being authentic and true and you're giving people some news they can use. People will listen to what you have to say. And so that was confirmation to know, you know, that as I'm being encouraged for my team, because I never thought I would be here talking about some of the things that I'm talking about, that I'd be saying, you know, you need to come out with certain crystals, you need to hold certain things, and you need to pray a certain way, you need to ask for certain things, and you need to speak certain affirmations to yourself in order to get some of your manifesting off the ground, in order to feel better. That's literally faking it till you make it, but it's really not. These are things that we already have instilled in us that we don't know how to pull from, but they are born right, you know. And then having our ancestors and predecessors that came before us, you know, have us shun that. I'm just forever amazed at how much my spirit team is here for me, how much knowledge I'm provided with every day. I'm forever grateful. But as being a part of the body and me coming and doing my part of the positive change, this is how I get out the information, and then I'm being of service, allowing maybe someone that may be contemplating making positive changes in their lives, or maybe have a fear of relocating, or just whatever it is. You know, I don't have to touch everybody, but as long as I touch one or two, or I touch somebody, that's confirmation for me that my frequency is going out. My frequency, it has destination points. You know, it's like boom, boom. You know, how big do you want your frequency to be when you're out here trying to reach folks, you know? And so to be of a selfless service, because it's not always the easiest thing to come on the camera, to tell people about your personal endeavors, things that you have been through in your life, things that you have once hindered you, or where you may be in the current state, trying to just get to the next state, you know, trying to change the frequency to get to the next timeline, to keep elevating, to keep growing. That's not always easy to do, to be on this platform. And so my hat goes off. I tip my crown. I do all of that to anyone that is answering their calling and they're being of service, and they're doing it with selflessness. You know, I don't have anything in mind when I come and do these videos other than growing my people, loving my people, finding out a better way of living, because I see personally with these eyes, and I can feel with these eyes and all my other eyes that I have around my body, that things need to change, you know. And in order for it to change, it starts with people that are considered on the norm, or, you know, regular smegular people that came from your community that you didn't think would talk about things like this, because we've been taught to be uncomfortable about our God-given gifts, what the Creator gave to us. And I tell people all the time, I'm never gonna watch what the Creator gave to somebody else that He didn't give to me. I'm just glad I received what He gave to me. And so being of service in our community today, it looks different. It looks like mentors. It looks like just a sister. It looks like an auntie. It looks like someone picking up your child from school when you can't. It looks like somebody maybe buying you a bag of groceries, okay? It may be offering a hot meal. That's what being of service is, doing your part. Kind of like your 10%, your tithes, but you really not paying out in fun. Me and my sister was talking about that too, you know, on what that means, and that's just being of service. You know, that's what that 10% is about. You know, we had a really strong conversation about that, and being a part of these different what I want to call them. I want to just say churches or institutions. Let's just call them institutions. Being a different part of all these things, but just being a part of the world and being a part of a community. You can put your 10% right back into your community. You can go help your neighbor down the street who might be an elder that can't get out and get groceries. You can do your 10% by helping them out with maybe some chores if you got some time, maybe running an errand, lending an ear, or giving somebody some helpful advice. That's doing your 10%. That's the kind of energy that we're coming into. And so I ain't gonna hold you guys up too long, but this is what I discovered about this new moon cycle that we're in. I'm very excited. I hope everyone else is excited as we leave that season of shedding that last bit of that. I like to call it residual, right? We had I feel like a lot of us was having some residual fear. We were having some guilt. We were having some confusion. And so just to know that all that's ending, we're about to be in a brand new year. Having goals, people are moving towards their goals. I'm just excited about setting boundaries. You know, I've been really big on setting my boundaries today in my life and saying what works for me and what keeps me in a well state of mind so that I can be right when I come and I do these videos or these shorts and I come and give y'all some news you can use, and you sitting down here with Queen and you know, on my spiritual throne, so to speak, on how I feel. I hope everybody inherits theirs at some point. I hope people start to walk in the light and grasp onto the concept of doing service work, being of service in your community, not thinking of it as a racial thing, but, you know, not a color thing, but more of a human race thing, and doing what you can to help a fellow brother or sister. You know, when we're doing these spiritual walks, you encounter all kind of different people, different beings, and it's never a dull moment, but it's never a moment that's without purpose. You know, I found that I've gotten help from all kinds of people, especially on the spiritual journey. I remember when I was driving and I left from Oregon, and we were on the road, and I went in one market and I went to go buy some bread and some sandwich meat for my kid and my dog and us, just some stuff, right? I had a lady, she was like, yeah, I didn't know who I was going to end up ministering to. But I just asked if it was in his will, you know, could I do your work today? And she reached in her wallet and she gave me $20. And I went out to the car, and this is a true story, y'all. I went out to the car and the dog ate the whole dang loaf of bread, y'all, right? So I go back in the store with the lady's 20 to go buy the loaf of bread because I'm moving on faith, because this is what my higher power told me I needed to do at that time so that I can be the best and being selfless of my service that I have, as you see, signed on to be, you know, to do. That lady bought me a loaf of bread, told me, you keep that 20, that's for you. Later on down the road, if you need any help, this is where you can stop. You can stop at any church, you can stop here, you can stop there. And I'll never forget that. Came across Kentucky, walked in Kentucky, went into a gas station, bought some gas. It was flash flooding everywhere. And the gas station attendant there Gave us some chicken and some JoJo's, right? Because at the time I was still eating meat, but it was grateful, you know, because I didn't know what leaving home looked like. I had so much fear and anxiety of leaving something that was literally suffocating me, that I didn't know what leaving looks like. But as I left, and I left on faith, and I knew that there was a higher calling for what I was doing back at home. Was I supported? I was carried. Even right now to this day, as I'm sitting in this hotel, there's been days I done got up and like, dang, how I'm going to pay for it today? Not knowing where it's come from. One day I took a shower, y'all, true story, because this must be a testimony day about the kind of change in the frequency, and I'm supposed to share this with y'all. But I woke up, I didn't have no money to pay for my room one day. And this was like last week sometime. And prepped my daughter to say, oh, well, you're probably going to go over here to such house, and I'm going to just do this and, you know, whatever. And so I went and took her to school, and came back, stood in the middle of the room, right? Butt naked, y'all, true story. And I cried. I think the night before I had meditated and prayed. But I stood in the middle of the room that morning, and I cried. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I hadn't questioned the love that I received from my spirit team. I just didn't understand, right? Because I'm obedient, right? I show up. Wherever they tell me to go, I'm there. Whatever they tell me to do, I do, you know. And so I was really confused, and I was in confliction, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, I started having a little doubt within myself. My flesh, I started to doubt. And so I did all that, cried, went, took a shower, cleansed, and prayed. And I really asked. And true story, y'all, came out the shower. And I went to step outside the room door after getting my clothes on, and was talking just to a random person, you know, doing cordial greetings. And I heard somebody say, you, come here. And I said, he said, he's talking to you. I said, he told me, right? That's what I'm doing, me, right? Because I ain't from here. And when I get down there, he said, yeah, come to the office. I got something for you. And I went in there, y'all, and it was a voucher for a free night. You know, my sister friend, E, she said, boy, you be right on time. Come at 11:59, right? 11:59. Because in that moment, you know, I could have went to ground zero. I could have thought this. I could have thought that. I could have got angry. But instead, I'm still telling myself, how am I being service? So I was still worried about how I'm going to carry this mission, how I'm going to stick on to what I'm meant to do to change this frequency, to keep on with the mission of changing the frequency, of putting this love and light out. You know, and I'm showing up and I'm doing these videos, and I don't understand a little bit what's going on. But just in that moment, I got reminded of, no matter what, as long as you stay in obedience with your assignment, and you moving, and you moving in righteous, you ain't got to worry about that karma spinning the block yesterday that I talked about in that video. We don't got to talk about worried about what kind of fruits you gonna get. Because I'm personally waiting for exotic fruits. I'm gonna keep saying that. I don't know what them exotic fruits gonna consist of, but I'm waiting on exotic fruit to come in, because I'm doing good work. I'm doing the work. You know, I'm not worried about that karma spinning the block, because I'm not out here cutting up. I ain't out in the streets selling dope no more. I ain't ripping and running. I'm showing up the places I need to be. I'm not looking to cut corners around the city where all the buildings done already been bulldozed. You know, I'm walking. I'm doing the work. And so if my only service that I have is to show you guys what it looks like, to get those gears spinning, and to be of service, is to allow you to see me go through this, to inspire you to get it going, get whatever it is going that your spirit is causing you to do, because that's what that positive change 1515 is about, you know. And more than likely, you're going to be called to do something that's going to grow, to help all of humanity. You know, that's 66. That's what that energy is about. So that's what I wanted to come on here and share. As always, you can like, comment, and share. I always love feedback. Once I get settled, I'm going to figure out how to have an open platform where we can have open chat. Upon pulling the energy, I was thinking about pulling the energy, and I said, no, the energy is just talking about the new moon cycle, talking about the last full moon and the next full moon, and what comes out of that. What kind of message did you get out to share with your brothers and sisters around the world, to grow them? And again, they're always called the growing pains, but today it's painful in a good way. It's kind of like having a good workout, when you done been to the gym and you work out. So now you're like, ooh, right? Burn so good, right? That's kind of what it feels like to do the right thing and to know that I am being heard by some people, that I am on the right path, that I am being pushed towards the right direction. And so, yeah, let me know what you think about this video. Please leave comments. I will respond. I'm also on TikTok under Queen Z13. And I am on Facebook, Uncomfortable Conversations. You can friend request me. I probably will be going live on that platform at some point because I want to start reaching people at a bigger magnitude and at the same time. But for me, because I was in the streets, and y'all don't laugh at me, I was in the streets for a part of my life, so I wasn't focused on no computers. I wasn't doing any of this, and I didn't give a heck about no platforms, no social media platforms other than posting a selfie. That's when I was my low vibrational self, y'all. But seeming that I've elevated from those states of mind, am I being pushed to learn how to navigate all of the platforms to get my message heard and to reach more people. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as you set out into the evening to maybe get ready for bed, like it's getting late where I'm at, or you're getting ready to just sit down with your family. Think about that 66 energy: selflessness, service, a deep responsibility for humanity. That is 66. And 1515, positive changes moving forward. So being in the season, start planning, start putting yourself in preparation and action mode of getting these frequencies out, getting your ideas to the forefront, actually out of your head and onto paper or out into the world, so that they can start seeming more real to you. Because the quicker we do a lot of these things, the faster the communities will start to change. You just slowly gonna start seeing people like, what? Ooh, did you hear that? The topic of conversation will get to change. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I love you as Queen Z. Ashe.